All right, guys, what an epic press conference down there at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, I don't know what I thought I'd get, but a couple things jumped to mind. This was a big deal. It's almost like he's president. I mean, he's making big deals. He's making announcements, talking about everything from healthcare to border security, vaccines. It was amazing. RFK up on the Hill yesterday. So far, fairly well received. The president sort of making it clear that Bobby's got not going to be as concerned and pledging his support for the polio vaccine. I'm going to tell you about this in a minute, but this is huge. The SoftBank CEO standing next to him and pledges $100 billion and 100,000 jobs in America in the next 4 years. Man, what a difference an election makes. I mean, Donald Trump, first he goes to France. He gets treated like he's the incumbent president. And now during this Mar-a-Lago press conference yesterday, it was unbelievable. I mean, I'm going to just say this out of the gate, though. I commented on this, I don't know what, a couple days ago, last week. But the tone of this guy's different, isn't it? I mean, he looks stately. He's still got that Trump edge. But they tried to bait him a couple times yesterday, and he didn't take it. Very focused. And I just think that he's a changed. I mean, look, he's still Trump. You can see it in the truths that he sends out, whatever. But I believe, based on what I've seen, and you look at that Meet the Press interview, the Time interview, this press conference yesterday, where they're coming at him, a bunch of spider monkeys. He was measured, thoughtful, deliberative. Those aren't things, and you know what? A lot of times it comes to me from people who will text me, Sean, I didn't expect this. Like, I didn't see this coming. Like, this isn't the Trump I'm used to. He's supposed to be erratic. No, he's very measured. And I think that's worth noting. I've said this before, but there's two things. One, I think his legacy in general is front of mind. Who can't? After you've had this one term and you've had a chance to think about it for 4 years, what's my place in the world? What's my place among the other 40-something, what is it? So he's 45 and 47, so the other 44 presidents. What's my place in them? What have I done? What am I going to do great? Because I don't think with a Republican House and Senate, they're going to come, they can't come after him like they did, the Democrats did, impeach, at least not until the midterms, God willing. But anyway, I also think getting two assassination attempts, one that grazes you, makes you think about life differently. These are my takes, but I just can't imagine that it doesn't have a thing. Anyway, RNC Chairman Mike Whatley is coming up. We've got a lot to get to with him about the RNC's role, what he thinks about the media. I mean, a lot to break down with Chairman Michael Whatley, who the president just asked to stay on. I mean, I really want to know about what the RNC is going to do now. What role are they going to play to support him? How do we keep the train moving down the track on election security, on election integrity? I think we made a lot of progress this cycle. How do we make sure we keep it going? All right. If there is one takeaway from the press conference yesterday, it was this. Here you have this billionaire Japanese businessman, the CEO of SoftBank, coming to Mar-a-Lago to tell the president of the United States, I'm going to invest $100 billion with a B, $1 billion into the United States and create 100,000 jobs during your presidency. Now, I don't know about you, but my reaction would be, thank you. This is amazing. Wow. I'm going to start with this. What does Donald Trump do? Take a look.
I'm excited to go, and we were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double down is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's what I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion instead of that? He can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but, he's now asking to do more. I think, with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
200. He'll make it happen. 200 billion investment.
He is a great negotiator.
I mean, that's amazing. The guy basically says, how about 200 billion? I mean, who does that? Nobody but Donald Trump. Someone comes to you, hey, I'd like to pledge $100 billion. How about 200? Could you make it 200? This isn't like $5. And then what does he do? Massa turns around and says, all right, I'll try. But this is the difference that the election made. This is leadership. Yesterday during the show, I think it was Julie Gunlock was saying, this president, when it came to the media, showed us how to fight. She's absolutely right. I think for so long, Republicans just, curled up in the fetal position. Oh my gosh, we're getting attacked. What do we do? How do we befriend them? Can we go to their parties? Can we make buddies with them? Do we send them a fruit basket? An edible arrangement to make nice? Donald Trump says, fight, fight, fight. He goes after him and he wins. Just ask George Stephanopoulos. He's $15 million poorer. This is the difference. Tells the CEO, hey, how about $200 billion, not just $100 billion? When you have someone that's going to fight for America and fight for our jobs, that's the difference. Where the reporters get this all wrong on NATO is it's not Trump's against NATO. NATO's a two-way street. We pledge our support for our fellow NATO partners in Article 5, but you have to agree to spend 2% of your budget on national defense. Why do you get to spend it on roads and bridges and we have to plus up our budget in the Defense Department so that we can protect you? That's not what the deal is. But it took Donald Trump fighting for us to say, not going to happen anymore. And the same thing on trade. I'm for free trade. I'm for fair trade too. But Donald Trump said, hey, why do you guys get market access to our country when we get screwed over in your country? We can't sell our cars, our goods, our services. Not going to happen anymore. Either we tear this up or we get a better deal. That's what we need. Someone willing to fight for America. And I think that this is just a long time in the coming. But we finally got to see the difference when Donald Trump was out of office. Sometimes it's like that old saying, you don't know what you've got until it's gone. We saw Joe Biden. We said, oh, we don't want late night tweets. And look what happened. Inflation comes in. Costs of goods and services go through the roof. Many Americans can't make ends meet. We have a botched withdrawal in Afghanistan that's embarrassing, both here, what we think about the sacrifice that so many made, but abroad, our allies are looking at us like a bunch of dum-dums. It was embarrassing. And frankly, I don't think we would have Russia invading Ukraine or Hamas attacking Israel if it hadn't been for that. That's my opinion. But leadership matters. We're still 35 days away from the inauguration of Donald Trump, and we're getting results. We're going to talk a lot about this with RNC Chairman Michael Whatley in just a second. I want to play you, though, because after it gets done with the SoftBank stuff, Trump gets into what day one is going to look like. Let me play you that clip. Go.
Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We had it in my term. We had the greatest economy that the world had seen. We were blowing away everybody. Our country was doubling up on China, doubling up on everybody, and everybody knows it. And then we had to slow it down with COVID, unfortunately, at the end. But even then, I gave it back with a substantial increase of the stock market, bigger than it was pre-COVID, so it was pretty amazing. Already preparations are underway to slash massive numbers of job-killing regulations, eliminating 10 old regulations for every new one. You put a new regulation on, you have to get rid of 10. and we'll be able to do it. And that was about the percentage we had. We cut more regulations than any president has ever cut by far, actually, by approximately 5 times. Some of those regulations, unfortunately, were put back on, but we'll catch up very quickly. We'll catch up with it.
All right. This again goes back to what I was saying a moment ago. These 4 years out of office might have been the greatest gift that we have gotten. They've had time to plan the people, the policies, and the processes to get things done. They're going to hit the ground running in a way that we've never seen before. And this is going to be how he's going to come into office. Slashing regulations, getting the job done, making an environment that encourages prosperity and investment. We're going to benefit from this. I think the one area that I thought was fascinating, though, and where everybody should be outraged because the media refuses to cover it. When I told you guys I went down to the border, I'm looking to each side because they didn't finish it. And the agents are telling me, yeah, that's all border wall. We weren't allowed, no one was allowed to touch it. Noon on January 20th, 2021. Can't touch it. Not only were they not touching it, but we have now found out that the Biden administration was selling it off, pennies on the dollar. And now we have to rebuy it all. Listen to what President Trump had to say about that.
Now we ordered an additional 200 miles of wall. It's very expensive. And now it's about double the price of what it would have been 6 years ago. And the administration is trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that we're getting ready to put it up. And what they're doing is really an act. It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars because you're talking about a lot of wall. I built much more than I said I was going to build, but then after it was built, I said, you know, we can do some more because it's sort of like water, people flow through. And that will pretty much really take care of it. And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar. And that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation. And all it means really is that we're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars more, not even talking about the time. Time would be pretty long. But we'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars more on building the same wall that we already have.
I mean, you may not want to build the wall, Joe Biden, but you've just cost us a bunch of money because of your inflation. Think about this. We had already bought it. Then you let it sit there. Then you sold it at pennies on the dollar, and we got to buy it at a higher price because of your inflation. Talk about getting screwed. I mean, it is unbelievable. I think one of the things that is amazing, though, is that President Trump made it very clear the overarching theme that he's going to come into office. Take a listen, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
We will not rest until America is richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before.
All right, you heard that right there. Richer, safer, and stronger. That surmises everything. Anyway, RNC Chairman Michael Whatley's on his way. I want to talk to him about RFK and what's going on up on the Hill. It was funny, though, because President Trump weighed into RFK, which I think was a very interesting thing because the media was trying to attack him and, go after RFK about vaccine. This is what he had to say about this.
On vaccines, do you want RFK Jr. to revoke any vaccines?
No, I want him to come back with a report as to what he thinks. We're going to find out a lot. We're doing 2 things. We're going to have tremendous cost savings will come out of this. That's a minimum. And we're also going to have, and I think, very serious discussions about certain things, whether it's pesticides. Europe doesn't use pesticides, and yet they have a better mortality rate than we do. They don't use pesticides. In fact, they use it as an excuse not to take our farm product. We spend billions and billions of dollars on pesticides. And something bad's happening. Again, you take a look at autism today versus 20, 25 years ago, it's like not even believable. So we're going to have reports. No, nothing's going to happen very quickly. I think you're going to find that Bobby is he's a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational. No, nothing, you're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen. I saw what happened with the polio. I have friends that were very much affected by that. I have friends from many years ago, and they have, obviously, they're still in not such good shape because of it. You know, and many people died. And the moment they took that vaccine, it ended. Dr. Jonas Salk did a great job, so I don't anticipate that at all.
Well, all right, you know, he was up there on the Hill. Good reception. And I've listened to a lot of this. I think that the media wants to make something up about, oh, you guys are all against vaccines. President Trump making it very clear, I support the polio vaccine. But I think that we've fallen for a trap. Why can't we ask questions? Why is it that autism goes up in the last few years? Why is it that cancer's going up, life expectancy is going down, and we're supposed to sit back and just take it? Any normal person would say, hey, what are we doing differently? What can we do better? That's what a smart person does. The media wants to call you a conspiracy theory for saying that right in front of your face, what you see going on shouldn't happen. That's nuts. A dumb person just allows it to keep going. I think that his point is well taken. We're going to finally start asking the right questions, and we need to, all throughout government, challenge the status quo, find out if we can be doing it better and safer, smarter.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.